Om
Hari bol Radhe Radhe.
ajïäna-timirändhasya jnana-çaläkayä cakñur yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam sthapitam yena bhutale swayam rupah kadamayyam dadati swapadantikam vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutpad Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatrubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Mahabharata Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Tvishe Namaha. So we are on chapter 12 today. Yesterday we finished the universal form and we came to the conclusion. Bhagavan said the two-handed form is the original form and this is the most difficult form, but you can achieve this, you can see this, you can connect with this form by bhakti alone, by unalloyed devotion. And my dear Arjuna, only by undivided devotional service I can be understood as I am standing before you, and you can thus be seen directly. Only in this way you can enter into the mysteries of my understanding. And in the end he ended up saying, my dear Arjun, he who engages in my pure devotional service, free from the contaminations of fruitive activities and mental speculation, he who works for me, he who makes me the supreme goal of life, and who is friendly to every living being, certainly comes to me. Now we start the 12th chapter. Arjun has seen everything. Arjun so far has heard about the Sankhya Yoga, about Gyana, about Parabrahma. He heard about the formless God. We say formless, but actually it is not formless. See, they say Nirakar. Nirakar means the one who is in so many akar, so many forms is Nirakar. He cannot be put into one form. That person is Nirakar. In English we say it formless, but there is no such thing called formless. He is not formless. He has many forms. Okay, so when Arjuna is seeing the universal form, he is seeing Bhagavan in each and everything. So he has seen that. And then he has seen the four-handed form, he has seen the proper form, and now he's seeing the two-handed form. Now Arjun, and Bhagavan says, you can achieve me through devotional service. So now Arjun is putting that question. Bhagavan, so you told me about the formless Brahma, you told me about the Brahma, and then you told me about your form. Tell me, which is the best form to worship according to you? Which is the best method? What should I follow according to you? Arjuna Vacha, this chapter is called as Bhakti Yoga, devotional service. Arjuna Vacha, evam satata yuktaye bhakta swam pariyupasate che ye chapi aksharam avyaktam tesham ke yoga vittamaha. Arjuna said, oh my Lord, which are considered to be most perfect? Those who are always engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal impersonal Brahma, the unmanifested. Who is better? So the Bhakta means he's always saying Bhagwan is Sri Krishna, 200 form. His bhakti is Shravanam, talking about Bhagwan, thinking about Bhagwan, serving Bhagwan. That is this kind of bhakti. So in the world, this thing always people have this debate, oh, this is what this is sentimental. People look at a bhakta and they'll say, oh, this is sentimental. Bhagwan cannot be achieved by like this. Bhagwan cannot be an ordinary man. Yesterday we heard so many stories about Bhagwan. So it is very bewildering to the knowledgeable person, the one who does not want to believe this. And there are many religions in the world today, they don't believe in form. They'll say Bhagwan cannot become a man, ordinary human. He's somebody extraordinary. He's something extraordinary. He's beyond your reach. He's unapproachable. He's unmanifested. He cannot manifest like us. So they worship him. So Arjuna is now asking, Bhagwan, you have spoken about everything. Now can you please clearly tell me, which is better? The one who is doing bhakti in your form, or the one who is meditating on that impersonal Brahman, your unmanifest form? Who is better? So let us see what Bhagwan answers. Bhagwan uvacha mayyavesha mano ye mam nitya yukta upasate shraddhaya pariyopetas te me yukta tamamatah. Bhagwan says, my dear Arjun, mayyavesha mano ye mam, those who fix their minds on my personal form, my personal form. I'm repeating this. My personal form. What is Krishna's personal form? He showed 200 form. Bhagwan says, those who fix their minds on my personal form and are always engaged in worshipping me with great transcendental faith are considered by me to be most perfect. Bhagwan didn't go here and there. First statement, he has made it very clear. Arjuna asks, who is better? Bhagwan says, those whose mind are fixed on me, they are the most perfect, in my opinion. I consider them to be the most perfect. What do you mean, Bhagwan? What about the other? Those who were meditating on the impersonal Brahman feature of yours. You only spoke about Sankhya Yoga. 6th chapter, till 6th chapter, you're only talking about impersonal Brahman. Now comes 12th chapter and you have changed completely. You just say, my bhaktas are most perfect. What about them then? And there are so many like that. No voice, ma'am. Voice is not coming. I hope it's coming. Voices. Okay. There are so many like them who are meditating on that Brahman. What about them, Bhagavan? Are they not perfect? He's Krishna. He likes everybody. He'll say his answer. Yes, they're also perfect. But there is something. I'll tell you, Arjun. What is that? Yetva aksharam anirdesham avyaktam paryupasate sarvatra gama chintyam cha kutastham achalam dhruvam sanniyam yendriya gramam sarvatra samabuddhaya te prapnuvanti mameva sarvabhuta hite rataha. Bhagavan says, but those who fully worship the unmanifested, that which lies beyond the perception of the senses, the all-pervading, inconceivable, unchanging, fixed, and immovable, the impersonal conception of the absolute truth by controlling various senses and being equally disposed to everyone, such persons engaged in the welfare of all, at last achieve me. So Bhagavan did not discredit them. Bhagavan said, they also achieve me at last. They meditate on me. And eventually they will see everything, my impersonal Brahman feature in everything, and they do welfare of all. And by being like that, at last they achieve me. But O Arjun, klesho adiktarastesham avyakta asakta chetasam avyakta hi gatir dukkham dehavabdhiravapyate. For those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested personal feature of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. To make progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied. So I'll just read the translation here, the purport here. The group of transcendentalists who follow the path of the inconceivable, unmanifested, impersonal feature of Supreme Lord are called Gyana yogis. You know, in our world, Ramana Maharshi. You have heard of Ramana Maharshi, most of you must have heard. So Ramana Maharshi was a Gyani yogi. Always in that Gyan state. Then there is one more saint, Radha Baba, who was a Gyani yogi. But then from Gyani yogi, he became a Bhakta later. He got into the Gopi Bhav, Radha Bhav. And then we have Ramakrishna Paramhans. He was a Bhakta, truly. But then he also saw the Brahman feature of Kali when he practiced Vedanta with Totapuri. So, as Bhagavan is saying, everybody gets me. Whether somebody is meditating on me like the impersonal Brahman feature, they will also achieve me. Whether somebody is worshipping me like a Bhakta, they are always with me. But they are most perfect because the other ones who are doing it, the path is very difficult to follow. I taught you in chapter 6, path of Buddha. Very difficult to follow, living in this practical world. Because throughout you have to, all the time you have to be in that zone. I am the Atma, I am the Atma, I am the Atma, everything is Atma. You have to understand your every sensation you are analyzing, everything you're looking like a science. Every day, it is very difficult. I've taught you in the past. To approach God, there are two paths. One is, okay, you learn from the scriptures, you understand this is this, so is the science. I will do it myself. I will go myself. You have the map, you go yourself. Another way is to follow the path of somebody who has already gone there. You just be with that party. So all these bhaktas also have seen God. Same way, Gyanis have also experienced God. But Gyani is like, I will do it myself. I know what is there. I will do it myself. I'll experience myself. Bhaktas, oh, that person has walked this path. This path is safe. I know this path I can reach. They have reached there. So I will also reach using this path. I will go with the Bhaktas. I will go with the Gurus, the Acharyas. So Bhaktas follow that path. Bhagavan says this is easier. That is hard. This is what Bhagavan has said. Bhagavan acknowledged both. But Bhagavan says the other path, the path of the Gyani, is harder, is difficult. Klesho adiktarastesham. There is more, that advancement in that path is very troublesome. Because we are so used to being in the body. We are so used to being in the body. So always to think, oh, I'm not this body, I'm not this body. I'm not this, always in that zone. I'm not this body. If anybody behaves with you anyways, oh, these are Atmas. Or if somebody behave like you in some way, oh, they behave because Rajagun Tamogud. You have to practice this. So this is very troublesome. But because we are embodied, it is very easy, If we, like we know, we have two hands, we have eyes, and when we see Bhagwan also with two hands, eyes, it is very easy to connect. Finally, we have to experience Bhagwan, that's all right. This is an easy way. Bhagwan says this is an easy way. The other way is hard. You have to always think you are without form, and you have to always think I am without form. Form without form without form. That is hard. But these people also will achieve in the end. To make progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied. The process of Gyana Yoga, although ultimately bringing one to the same goal, is very troublesome, whereas the path of Bhakti Yoga, the process of being in direct service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is easier and is natural for the embodied soul. The individual soul is embodied since time immemorial. It is very difficult for him to simply theoretically understand that he is not the body. Therefore, Bhakti Yoga accepts the deity of Krishna as worshipable, because there is some bodily conception fixed in the mind which can thus be applied. Of course, the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his form within the temple is not idol worship. There is evidence in the Vedic literature that worship may be saguna or nirguna, the supreme possessing or not possessing attributes. Worship of the deity in the temple is saguna. Worship for the Lord is represented by material qualities. But the form of Lord, though represented by material qualities such as stone, wood, or oil paint, is not actually material. That is absolute nature of the Supreme Lord. A crude example may be given here. We may find some mailboxes on the street. If we post our letters in those boxes, they will naturally go to their destination without difficulty. But an old box or an imitation, which we may find somewhere, but which is not authorized by the post office, will not do the work. Similarly, God has an authorized representation in the deity form, which is called Archa Vigraha. This Archa Vigraha is an incarnation of the Supreme Lord. God will accept service through that form. The Lord is omnipotent, all-powerful. Therefore, by his incarnation as Archa Vigraha, he can accept the services of the devotee, just to make it convenient for the man in conditioned life. So for a devotee, there is no problem in approaching the Supreme immediately and directly. But for those who are following the impersonal way of spiritual realization, the path is difficult. They have to understand the unmanifested representation of the Supreme through such Vedic literatures as the Upanishads. And they have to learn the language, understand the non-perceptual feelings, and realize these processes. This is not very easy for a common man. A person in Krishna consciousness engaged in devotional service, simply by the guidance of the bona fide spiritual master, simply by offering regulative obeisances unto the deity, simply by hearing the glories of the Lord, and simply by eating the remnants of foodstuffs offered to the Lord, realizes the Supreme Personality of Godhead very easily. There is no doubt that the impersonalists are unnecessarily taking a troublesome path with the risk of not realizing the absolute truth at the ultimate end. People can talk and talk and talk in this impersonal feature, but really it is very difficult. But the personalist, without any risk, trouble, or difficulty, approaches the Supreme Personality directly. A similar passage appears in Srimad Bhagavatam. It is stated that if one ultimately has to surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, this surrendering process is called bhakti, but instead takes the trouble to understand what is Brahman, what is not Brahman, and spends his whole life in that way. The result is simply troublesome. Therefore, it is advised here that one should not take up this troublesome path of self-realization, because there is no certainty in the ultimate result. A living entity is eternally and conditioned soul. Bhagavan said, a living entity is an embodied soul for many lives. So to think of that concept, oh, I'm not embodied, is very difficult. So a living entity is eternally an individual soul, and if he wants to merge into the spiritual whole, he may accomplish the realization of the eternal and knowledgeable aspects of his original nature, but the blissful portion is not realized. By the grace of some devotees, such a transcendentalist, highly learned in the process of Gyana Yoga, may come to the point of Bhakti Yoga or devotional service. At that time, long practice in impersonalism also becomes a source of trouble because he cannot give up the idea. Therefore, an embodied soul is always in difficulty with the unmanifest, both at the time of practice and at the time of realization. Every living soul is partially independent, and one should know for certain that this unmanifested realization is against the nature of his spiritual blissful self. One should not take up this process. For every individual living entity, the process of Krishna consciousness, directly engaging in the service of Krishna, is easy, is the best way. If one wants to ignore this bhakti, there is a danger of turning to atheism. Thus, the process of centering attention on the unmanifested, the inconceivable, which is beyond the approach of the senses, is already explained in these verses. Should never be encouraged at any time, especially in this age. It is not advised by Lord Krishna. Bhagwan's advice is very clear. Saguna Bhakti, we see him in the Murti form, is very easy. Do that. The other one, you will achieve me, but it is very difficult. You may fall down. But saying that, as I mentioned, there are 3 bhaktas. Bhaktas experience everything. Do not think that the bhakta is less. Because people normally think that Gyan marg is the tough marg, so that is the correct marg. No. Bhagwan is very nicely explained here. Yes, it is a tough marg. It is a tough path. But I am very easily realized in my bhakti. And that is the easy part. But in my opinion, that is the best. He accepts that. First statement was he accepts bhakti marg as the best path. Second statement is like, yeah, the others also will come to me at last. And I gave an example of Ramakrishna Paramhans. He was bhakta, he was Kalima bhakta. We say he was Kalima bhakta, but he had practiced bhakti of everyone. He loved mother till the end of his life. He liked that form. From childhood, he was attracted to only that form of mother. And he was a selfless soul. Gurus were coming from different places to teach him other things. So Totapuri, his guru, Vedantic guru, he came to teach him about Bramhan, to teach him about the formless Kali, that Kali is Brahman. And his practice was so strong that the moment he meditated, he could see Kali right there in front of him. And Totapuri is telling, no, you have to focus on the formless. He's like, I can't take this form out of my mind. So Totapuri took a piece of glass and just made a mark here with the glass, like light. Just so that when Ramakrishna is meditating, so Totapuri takes a piece of glass and says, now I'm going to cut that image of Kali, and then whatever remains is Brahman. So he just takes that, makes that action. When he was doing that, the Kali's image vanished away. And then Ramakrishna Paramhans was submerged into that Brahman experience. Everything blissful, joyful. He's enjoying. He was lost in that. After that, he came back to his senses normal. Totapuri was surprised that it took 40 years for Totapuri to get that experience of bliss, of Brahman, the unmanifested. And Ramakrishna Paramhans experienced that in 3 days of sadhana. A bhakta in 3 days of sadhana. And after coming back to normalcy, Ramakrishna said, yeah, I like the Brahman form of Kali, but I like my mother more. I will always worship her in the Sagun form. and he got the second form back. He always worshipped Mayas in the Murti. For him, Maya used to come from the Murti. We know about Ramakrishna Paramhans' devotion, greatest Kali Bhakta of our time. He was not only Kali Bhakta. See, that is the beauty of Ramakrishna. He went to worship Ram. He would get into the bhava. And he said, okay, Ram's greatest devotee is Hanuman. I will become in the Das bhava, in the bhava of Hanuman. And he worshipped Ram and he saw Ram in that bhav. He worshipped Krishna in Gopi bhav. He is having a male body. But in his mind, he is becoming a gopi. He went in such deep bhava, his bodily functions changed and he started getting periods, menses, just like women do. A male body. He experienced Krishna. He said, I want to experience Allah. Now the Allah people, they see their experience, the way they describe God is also like a Brahman only, unmanifested. For them, there is no idol worship. Even Christianity, there's no idol worship, even though in India it is there. But the concept is no idol worship. So no idol. It's unmanifest. Allah cannot become a human. So Ramakrishna Paramhans to worship, to understand that kind of worship, behaved like a Muslim. He started wearing the cap. He started wearing that lungi, that Muslim lungi, dhoti. And he started going to their places. He left his place of worship and he lived in that locality. And he worshipped the way the Muslims worship. 5-time namaz, he would do everything, whatever they are doing, he did. And he experienced that. He experienced Christianity, Jesus Christ. In the end, he said, people asked him, so what is God? You experience so many ways. Tell me, what is God? Can you tell us? Is it Kali? Is it Krishna? Is it Ram? Is it that impersonal Brahman? Is it that Allah? Is it that Christians, Jesus Christ? Jehovah, whatever you say, what is it? And he only gave the experience. He used to give 2 examples. One example was of the water. He would say, you see this water? If it is frozen, it has a form. If it is in normal state, it is so fluid. It will take the form of the vessel. Water will take the form of the vessel. And same water, when it is evaporated, it is there, but it is unmanifest. You cannot see the water when it is evaporated. So that unmanifested evaporated water is like the Brahman. And the same evaporated water, when it is condensed, it comes in the form of the vessel. So if the devotee's vessel is that, like he wants to see him as Krishna, that Brahman condensed as Krishna. If that devotee worships her as Kali, that Brahman condenses as Kali. And the stronger your devotion, it remains frozen. It doesn't leave you. What is the name of that? Ye yatha mam prapadyante, whatever name you are giving. And then he used to give the example of water. Somebody is calling it aqua, agua, pani, water. Scientists will say H2O. So they're all pointing to that one thing. To describe that one water, so many words are used. But what is water? You drink it, you know it. The taste of water is me, Bhagavan says in Gita. You drink it, you know it. This is an experience. You know it. So Ramakrishna is that kind of bhakta who has gone from bhakti to Brahman. He has experienced. Then there's another bhakta in this yuga. It's called Radha Baba. Radha Baba, you can Google. So Radha Baba was always in that Brahma realization state. was full Advaiti. He did not talk about idol worship or forms or anything at all. But then he happened to meet Bhaiji of Gita Press. Gita Press is a very famous press in India. They publish all spiritual books. All the books that we have, it's from Gita Press. So his owner, Bhaiji, they used to call. Bhaiji was a great devotee of Lord Vishnu, Krishna. So Bhaiji was worshipping Krishna all the time. Radha Baba happened to meet him. Bhaiji gave him a place in Gita Vatika to stay. Baba was Advaiti and Bhaiji is a Bhakta. Baba used to argue with him. Bhaiji used to talk whatever he knew. Bhaiji is a businessman, proper businessman, Marwadi businessman, but a great Bhakta. Because of their efforts, all our ancient scriptures were revived and they are given to us at a very nominal rate, very, very. So he is Bhakta and Radha Baba is Advaiti. Radha Baba does not believe in whatever he says. The argument debates used to go overnight. But one day, Krishna came directly in dreams to Radha Baba. And he said, whom you say as Advaiti, he is my great devotee. You see him as a businessman, but he is my devotee. He came out of the dream. He's like, what did I just see? He's an Advaiti. But being an Advaiti, we know about Krishna. And Krishna is saying, he's my devotee. So he went and he went back to Bhaiji and said, Bhaiji, I saw this dream now. It is so true. Can you tell me? Now teach me Bhagavatam. Tell me what is happening. I want to understand more. And then he started learning the Bhagavatam from him. And this same Baba, Radha Baba, he first did the sadhana of Lalita Tripura Sundari. And Ma Lalita came. Ma Lalita blessed him with the Krishna mantra. And he got into doing that mantra. And slowly he got into Sakhi Bhav, Gopi Bhav, Radha Bhav. He used to see those things and he used to write in his pages, but he used to throw that in the trash. Whatever he used to see, he used to write Pad, Mere Priyatam. And he used to write those and then he used to throw it in the trash. And Bhaiji once happened to see his room. And then he picked up all those things and he's written so many things, so many experiences of the other world. Goloka Vrindavan, Ras, Maharas. Bhaiji collected everything and it was published as a book. So this was Radha Baba. From Advaiti to Lalita Tripura Sundari to Krishna Bhakti. So we have examples of that also. And then I told you Raman Maharshi. Whatever little I know about Raman Maharshi, whatever I've read about Raman Maharshi, all his talks were more of the Brahman realization. So we have saints like that. Bhagavan accepts everybody and the journey can go anyways. And a Bhakta also experiences all the stage. That's why I took these 3 examples today for you. All right. Now let's go. Bhagavan says, Shloka number 6 to 7. Ye tu sarvani karmani mai sanyasya tatpara matpara ananyaneva yogena mam dhayanta upasata teshaham samuddharta mrityu sansara sagarat bhavami cha chirat partha maya veshita chetasam. Bhagavan now says, but those who worship me, giving up all their activities unto me and being devoted to me without deviation, engaged in devotional service and always meditating upon me, having fixed their minds upon me, O son of Pritha, for them, I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. Bhagavan made it very clear. We don't have to worry at all. The greatest authority, Bhagavan is talking, Bhagavan is giving us the promise. He will never break his promise. Nothing is impossible for him. So if all throughout, till you heard this statement from Bhagavan, if you were thinking, no, only Gyan Marg is the right mark, only Gyan Marg is the right mark. Arey Baba, it is the right mark, no doubt. But look at what Bhagavan is saying. Bhagavan is saying, for my bhakta, they don't have to worry. I am the swift deliverer. I will deliver them. Because their thoughts are on me. I take care of them. They don't have to worry about anything in this world. I am there for them. He says that. Teshaham samudharta. I am the deliverer. I am the swift deliverer. Mrityu sansara sagarat, from this ocean of birth and death. Bhavami te chirat partha. They will very quickly come to me. Bhavami te chirat partha. Maya aveshita chetasam. Those whose minds are fixed on me. So you don't have to worry. I'll read the purport. It is explicitly stated here that devotees are very fortunate to be delivered very soon from material existence by the Lord. Devotees don't have to worry at all. Whether you get all those experiences or not. You have read in the books, Gyani gets this experience, that experience of Brahma, this, that. Whether you get this experience or not in this life doesn't matter. Bhagavan says, I'll take care of you, don't worry. You remember my name and be lost in my thoughts. Forget the world. I'll take care of you. Devotee believes this promise. Bhagavan has said, if somebody remembers me and leaves their body, they will come to me. So what is his worry? No worries at all. In pure devotional service, one comes to the realization that God is great and the individual soul is subordinate to him. His duty is to render service to the Lord, and if he does not, then he will render service to Maya. As stated before, the Supreme Lord can be appreciated only by devotional service. Therefore, one should be fully devoted. One should fix his mind fully on Krishna. In order to achieve him, one should work only for Krishna. It does not matter what kind of work one engages, but that work should be done only for Krishna. As I always give this example, I always say, your office is your workplace. So that workplace, you are working, right? Work for Krishna. If you have a business, you are working, work for Krishna. If you are a teacher, work for Krishna. Means everything that you are doing, you have to believe that Bhagavan has put you there for a specific purpose. And you are working for God. If you have a business, all those people are dependent on you. All your employees are dependent on you. But you, who are you? You are the servant of Lord. You are working it for Krishna. Krishna thought you can manage that business, so Krishna has put you there. If you are teaching people, Krishna has thought you are good to pass on give the teachings, so Krishna has made you a teacher. Work nicely. Work for Krishna. If you are a doctor, Krishna has made you a doctor because he thinks you can deliver a good job. So work for Krishna. Serve everyone. If you are a dentist, work for Krishna. Serve everyone. If you are an electrician, plumber, whatever work you are doing, you are a gardener, whatever work you are doing, Krishna has put you there in that spot with something in his mind, and you must best serve Krishna. Whatever work you are doing, you don't have to go separately to serve Krishna. Whatever work you are doing, in your mind, you should always think, God has put me there. God wants me to work here. I will work nicely and surrender everything to Krishna. That's how we live in the world. But the devotee does not desire any achievement other than pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. His life's mission is to please Krishna, and he can sacrifice everything for Krishna's satisfaction. Just as Arjuna did in the battle of Kurukshetra, The process is very simple. One can devote himself in his occupation and engage at the same time in chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Such transcendental chanting attracts the devotee to the personality of Godhead. The Supreme Lord promises herein that without delay, he will deliver a pure devotee, thus engaged from the ocean of material existence. Those who are advanced in yoga practice can willfully transfer the soul to whatever planet they like by the yoga process. And others take the opportunity in various ways. But as far as a devotee is concerned, it is clearly stated here that the Lord himself has taken form, that the Lord himself takes him. The devotee does not need to wait to become very experienced in order to transfer himself to the spiritual sky. In Varaha Purana, it is stated, Nayami paramam sthanam archiradi gatimbina garudaskandam aropya yatecham anivaritaha. The purport of this verse is that a devotee does not need to practice Ashtanga Yoga in order to transfer his soul to the spiritual planets. The responsibility is taken by Supreme Lord himself. Bhagwan has taken the responsibility. He clearly states here that he himself becomes a deliverer. A child is completely cared for by his parents, and thus his position is secure. Similarly, a devotee does not need to endeavor to transfer himself by yoga practice to other planets. Rather, the Supreme Lord, by his great mercy, comes at once, riding on his bird, carrier Garuda, and at once delivers the devotee from material existence. Although a man who is fallen in an ocean may struggle very hard and may be very expert in swimming, he cannot save himself. But if someone comes and picks him up from the water, then he is easily rescued. Similarly, the Lord picks up the devotee from the material existence. One simply has to practice this easy process of Krishna consciousness and fully engage himself in devotional service. Any intelligent man should always prefer the process of devotional service to all other paths. In the Narayaniya, this is confirmed. Yavai Saadhna Sampatti Purushartha Chatushtaye Taya Vina Tadapnoti Naro Narayanashrayah. The purport of this verse is that one should not engage in different process of fruitive activities or cultivate knowledge by mental speculative process. One who is devoted to the Supreme Personality can attain all benefits derived from other yogic processes, speculations, rituals, sacrifices, charities, etc. Bhagavan has told it previously also. All charity you do, whatever you do, if you think of me, everything, the benefit of the charities, benefit of the yajnas, everything you're getting. Simply by chanting the holy name of Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. A devotee of the Lord can approach the supreme destination easily and happily. But this destination cannot be approached by any other processes. The conclusion of the Bhagavad Gita is stated in the 18th chapter. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshasyami ma suchaha. One should give up all other process of self-realization and simply execute the devotional service in Krishna consciousness. That will enable one to reach the highest perfection of life. There is no need for one to consider the sinful actions of his past life. Forget about whatever you did in the past. Whether Bhagavan will judge or not. People say Bhagavan Krishna judges. No, he does not. If you follow his words, very clearly he has said, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. You come to me, don't worry. I will deliver you from all the sins. People, they'll say, oh, Bhagavan looks at karmas. No, he does not look at karma if you surrender. Who is more benevolent than him? Surrender to him. Whatever you have done in the past is gone. He says, I will deliver you. It's my promise. Remember me all the time. How will you remember him? How do you remember your people? By calling their names. Call my names. You do your work and keep chanting my names. That's it. It's that easy. There's nothing complicated about Bhagwan. The world has made it very complicated. But Bhagwan is the easiest. There is no need for one to consider the sinful actions of his past life, because the Supreme Lord fully takes charge of him. Therefore, one should not futilely try to deliver himself in the spiritual realization. Let everyone take shelter of the Supreme Omnipotent Godhead Krishna. That is the highest perfection of life. Very easy. Clear-cut answer. There should not be any doubt anymore. Which path to follow? Is the Gyana Yoga path highest? You have got the answer here from Bhagavan. It's very clear-cut answer. It's up to you to trust. Many times people, they are on the path, and by 6th chapter they think, oh, they have gotten everything. And I'm like, no, wait, you have still not. There is more to come. Now here in 12th chapter, see what Bhagavan is saying. If I say, if somebody is very much inclined to Gyani Yoga, if I tell them, oh, no, Bhakti Yoga is great, as they are like, no, you're trying to just preach your philosophy. No, Baba, I'm not preaching my philosophy. You wait patiently, you hear Bhagavan's word, you see what Bhagavan is talking, you come to chapter 12, you will hear from Bhagavan directly. There is no philosophy to be preached. What am I going to get by preaching a philosophy? What's the point? Listen to Bhagavan. Be patient enough. Yes, Bhagavan spoke about Sankhya, but that was only till chapter 6. After that, come to chapter 12 and you will see what Bhagavan is saying. You must be patient enough. Many times people hurry. 6th chapter done. They're like, okay, we know everything. And they think following that path is the right path. Yes, it is right. And Bhagavan is giving the answer later. Kleshoya diktarastesham. Oh, that is very troublesome path. You will reach me. But when people do not want to believe that an easy path could be the path to approach God, they want to find troublesome paths. Bhagavan says, okay, no problem, take it. To me, I believe that He is our creator. He created us. The whole world, everything, whatever you see is working under His direction. If I just hold His hands, His feet, He will take me off. Obviously, He will take me. Whose responsibility am I? His. I don't have to worry. After coming to this realization, I'll tell you, you'll sleep very peacefully. Now you don't have to worry. Okay, I am with Bhagavan. Bhagavan will take care of me. Hare Ram Vyasi says in one of the dohas, one of his padas, काहू के बल साधन को काहू के आचार, व्यास भरोसे कुंवरी सोवत पैर पसार. So Hare Ram Vyas is a Rasik saint of Vrindavan. He says, oh, many people, they are doing so much sadhana. They think sadhana will deliver them. Good for them. There are so many people who are following so many rules and regulations, the Vedic rules and regulation, prescribed duties, prescribed things. Good for them. I have surrendered myself at the lotus feet of Srimati Radha. Whatever, wherever she takes me, I'm ready to go. And that's why now, since after surrendering myself at the lotus feet of Radha, I keep chanting Radha, Radha, and that is why I'm able to sleep peacefully. No more. I'm not following anything else. My only rule that I've taken in my life is I will not forget Radharani. Vyasa bharose kuvari, sovat pair prasar. After knowing this, that kuvari, Radharani is taking care of me, I can sleep peacefully. This is what it is. This is what Bhagavad Gita makes you. And you know that His hands are there with you. All you have to do is just chant His name. He's going to deliver you. Oh, now I can sleep peacefully. All that mental speculation gone, logic gone. Bhagavan is taking care. What to worry? This is the state the saints reach. पेड़ के नीचे खाट पड़ी है, खाट के नीचे कड़वा, राम प्रसाद अलमस्ता सोवे, राम ललन को सरवा. Another saint called Ram Prasad. He used to take, for him, Sita ji was his sister. He said, I am not worried about anything anymore. Sita ji is taking care, no? My sadhana, what is the sadhana you do? Oh, my sadhana. I just put a cot, a bed below the tree and I sleep. Thinking of Sita, Sita, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram. This is all I do. I have nothing to fear. When you meet saints, this is their state of mind. That's how relaxed they are. What will happen? What will happen? What will happen? Whether I'm doing this sadhana, will this sadhana give me that realization or not? You can think, I have to sleep. I'm thinking of Sita Ram and sleeping. I'm thinking of Radha, Radha, Radha and sleeping. They do not worry. Because they believe. Bhagavan said, if somebody is like this, I am the deliverer. It's his responsibility. Let him take care of it. So here Bhagavan goes on saying, Mayyeva man adatsva Mai buddhim niveshaya nivashyasi mayyeva ata urdhvam na sanchayaha. Bhagavan is saying, do not doubt, my dear Arjun. Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always. Do not doubt. Urdhvam na sanchaya. Do not doubt. Atham chittam samadhatum na saknoshi mai stiram abhyas yogena tato mam ichha tum dhananjaya. O Dhananjay, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. If somebody is always thinking of Bhagavan, he has achieved. If he is not able to think of Bhagavan, then he must follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. And the regulative principle starts from Shravanam, Satsanga, Kirtanam, Smaranam, chanting Bhagavan's name. These are regulative principles. You do that to train your mind to think of God. Bhakti Yoga is for the purification of your senses. At present, the senses are impure, so that is why you have to follow the regulative principles. And then Bhagavan goes on saying, if you cannot practice this Bhakti Yoga, then try to work for me. Bhagavan, I know Bhakti Yoga is difficult, trying to work for you is difficult. Bhagavan, while working, I definitely forget you. Not possible for me. Okay, I'll give you another easy path. This is how Bhagavan is. He will go on making easy. First he said, keep your mind always on me. You're like, Bhagavan, not possible. We're living in the world. Okay, you cannot keep your mind on me. No problem. At least can you listen about me? Can you do some Shravanams? Can you do some Kirtanam? Yeah, Bhagavan, but that also is very difficult. You live in Kali Yuga, then you will know how much work we have. We don't have that much time. Okay, you are working. I understood your problem. You're always working. You only want to work. So just think of me and work for me. Bhagavan, think of you and work for you. Not possible, Bhagavan. When we are working, our mind is fully into work. Okay, at the end of work, sometimes you must be stopping your work, right? At the end of your work, just surrender all that you did. Just tell from your mouth, oh my dear Lord, for the past 8 hours I was working. All that I have done by my mind, action, and speech, oh my dear Lord, I surrender everything to you. Now, whatever the results are coming, I am accepting all. If it is a good result, bad result, oh my Lord, I am not bothered anymore, because whatever I did it for you. This is what Bhagavan is saying now. If you are not able to work in this consciousness of me, then try to act, giving up all the results of your work, and try to be self-situated. Try to be happy. You worked hard day in and day out, Bhagavan, and taking Bhagavan's name, you're working day in and day out. And then something wrong is happening. Then don't complain. Oh, I was remembering God. I was working, I was remembering God. But look at the results. It was all bad. No. You have given it for God, right? Good or bad results. Doesn't matter anymore. You work, you surrender, you sleep. Whatever is the result, Bhagavan's marji. Bhagavan wanted it like that. So what? All that happens for good. That's how we live in the world. Bhagavan says, then he sums it up. He says, if you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, O Arjun, is meditation. And better than meditation is the renunciation of the fruits of action. For by such renunciation, one can attain peace of mind. So he says, try to get knowledge, try to practice, meditate upon this. And better than meditation is, do not worry about the results. Surrender everything to me. Our problem is we meditate and we worry about everything. Bhagavan says, you stop that worrying. You have surrendered to me. Everything that is happening is a blessing in disguise. Always. If something got stolen, blessing in disguise. Something new is going to come. If somebody very negative to you is fighting with you and is going away from your life, blessing in disguise. Thank God, gone. If good things are happening to you, thank God you're giving us so much. Everything, good or bad, is blessing. There were two saints, Eknath and Tukaram. Tukaram's wife used to beat him. And Tukaram says, Bhagwan, thank you for giving me such a wife. I'm able to think about you. She's not attracting me anymore. You are the most attractive right now. Eknath's wife, she used to serve him. And Eknath used to go and say, Bhagwan, thank you for giving such a wife. She's so helpful. Because of her, I'm able to remember you so nicely. So saints are like this. Devotees are like this. Bhagwan wants us to be like this. Good or bad people in our life, good or bad situations in our life, we have to rise above that. Everything is happening for our good. All actions we are doing, we serve the Lord, we surrender everything to the Lord. Whatever results are coming, Bhagwan, I am happy. Now Bhagwan says some qualities. I will just read it one time and the next time I will explain it more. These are my most favorite shlokas, 13 till 20. When people say, I have seen sometimes people say, oh, we are doing sadhana, we see Bhagwan, we get these experiences, we get good dreams. It's all good indication. I've always told, when you experience Bhagwan, when you're on the sadhana, first thing happens is your consciousness becomes very clear. Most of the time it is impure, but when you're on the sadhana, it starts purifying. So the first darshan means seeing Bhagwan. The first darshan of Bhagwan usually is in your dreams. When the consciousness is purifying, you will see pure dreams. That consciousness, subconscious mind is you only, understand this. So in the subconscious mind, you are tapping into some higher energies, some sadhus, some saints, some nice places, some kunjas, you see all those good things. So that is a good indication that you're on the good path. And that is the first type of darshan. It is called swapna darshan, darshan in the dreams, vision in the dreams, dream visions. If you're seeing Bhagwan or anything, it is very good indication. The next type, we don't stop there. It is for our encouragement. Next darshan is in your dhyan darshan. Like sometimes you are so deeply engrossed in dhyan that the form of Bhagwan is all there. So deep that you have forgotten everything. It's only the form that is remaining and whatever you're doing with the form. Bhagwan's saints, gurus, angels, anything. It can come. So that is dhyan darshan. Then there is pratyaksh darshan. You see him. Either in some bodily form he has come to you, but you realize later, or he's there. You see him, you talk to him. Or from your murti he's coming, he's talking to you. So pratyaksh darshan. Darshan means you're seeing. And the next darshan is the last, and the last darshan is seeing him in everything and everywhere. Jale Vishnu, Stale Vishnu, Jwala Mala Kule Vishnu, Sarvam Vishnu Mayam Jagat. That's how you see. So in everything you will see him. So these are the 4 types of darshan. But normally when people are doing sadhana, they usually see the first two is very easy when the consciousness is becoming pure. But to reach to the fourth one, where you are seeing in everything you're seeing God. Kapil Muni, who is the incarnation of Bhagwan Krishna, he came and he gave us the Sankhya Yoga. His katha, his story comes in Canto 3 of Bhagavatam. Whatever Sankhya you hear in the world was given to us by Kapil Muni, incarnation of Krishna. His ashram is there in Gangasagar, Kapil Muni's Gangasagar, and Mehsana, Siddhapur in Gujarat. That was his birthplace. So Kapil Muni's father, Kardam Muni, is a great saint. Bhagwan came to him and Bhagwan said, I am going to come to you as your son. Kardam's wife is Devuti. Devuti is Manu's daughter. So all of these are like, great personalities, Kardam. And Bhagwan comes and tells, I will become your son. That's how great Kardam Muni is. He had such yogic powers. With his yogic powers, he has built a city for his wife. A very modern city. It's all very deeply described and the city was in space. It was like a space city. He built it like that with his yogic powers. Kardam Muni was very, very established saint. So when Bhagwan came and he's come as son, Bhagwan is not doing all those Bal Leelas. He just comes like normals. And he's like, Kardam, I'm your son now. You have to go to the forest and meditate more. Kardam says, but Bhagwan, you have come as my son. Do I really need to go and meditate more? You've already become my son. He says, yes. Right now, you're only seeing me as your son. But that darshan, where you will see me in each and everything, you have not reached to that state. So go to that stage and you leave this, go to your stage and go and meditate more till the time you see me everywhere in everything. So Kardam Muni goes from there. And then Devuti is the mother and she has asked questions on Sankhya. Chapter 6, which you read, and chapter 13, which you are reading, 24 elements of Sankhya. And along with that, the Bhakti, the 25th element, Bhagavan, Paramatma, that Bhakti and Sankhya Yoga, 25 elements together, was given by Kapil Muni. We will, in 13th chapter, we are just getting an intro of that Sankhya. That Sankhya in detail is in Bhagavatam. I have spoken on that in Hindi lectures. If you are interested, you will see Kapilopakhyan. You go to the channel Smita Venkatesh, go to Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam old lectures, and you will see Kapilopakhyan. So there are many lectures on that. I think mostly 10 to 12 lectures could be there of Kapilopakhyan. So you will hear about Sankhya Darshan in detail given by Kapil. So that is a darshan. Anyways, these are big things for us to hear. We are happy by little experiences that we get in sadhana. But Bhagwan now, he's going to tell about some qualities. Those experiences are good. But you have to rise beyond that. To me, when somebody comes and says, I got these experiences, I always try to cool them down. I'm like, yeah, good. But have you developed these qualities? Because this is what Bhagwan wants. Because saying, oh, I got this experience, I have this and that, will increase your ego again, sattvic ego. That sattvic ego should not be there. I am holier than thou. So if for you to really, if somebody says, I am really, I'm really having those visions, I am seeing Bhagwan, I experienced her like this or that. Along with those experiences, have you developed these qualities, which is mentioned in Shloka number 13 to 20. This is your benchmark. This is how you have to grade yourself. All those experiences are given to you for encouragement, but do not stop there, because Bhagwan is going to say some qualities And he's going to say, if a devotee has these qualities, such a devotee is very dear to me. From 13 to 20, every shloka I will say, that devotee is very dear to me. That devotee is very dear to me. That devotee is very dear to me. I like these shlokas because I want to hear that word again and again. That devotee is very dear to me. That devotee is very dear to me. Who doesn't want to hear it from Bhagavan? And what we have to do to become his dearmost devotee? Certain qualities we have to develop. Let's see what are those qualities he wants us to develop. Adveshta sarva bhutanam maitra karuna evacha nirmamo nirahankaro sama dukkha sukhakshami santushta satatam yogi yatatma drida nischaya maya arpit mano buddhir yo mad bhakta same priya. One who is not envious but is friendly to all living entities, who does not think of himself as a proprietor, who is karuna, who is very kind, who is free from false ego, who is equal in both happiness and distress, who is tolerant, always satisfied, self-engaged, and engaged in devotional service with determination. His mind and intelligence fixed on me, such a devotee of mine is very dear to me. I'll just read all these slokas and end the chapter, but we will discuss in detail in the next class. Then he goes on saying, he by whom no one is put into difficulty and who is not disturbed by anyone, who is equipoised in happiness and distress, fear and anxiety, is very dear to me. My devotee, who is not dependent on the ordinary course of activities, who is pure, expert, without cares, free from all pains, and not striving from some result, is very dear to me. One who neither rejoices nor grieves, who neither laments nor desires, one who renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things, such a devotee is very dear to me. One who is equal to friends and enemies, who is equipoised in honor and dishonor, heat and cold, happiness and distress, fame and infamy, who is always free from contaminating association, always silent and satisfied with anything, who doesn't care for any residence, who is fixed in knowledge and who is engaged in devotional service, such a person is very dear to me. Those, and he ends up saying, those who follow this imperishable path of devotional service and who completely engage themselves with faith, making me the supreme goal, are very, very, very dear to me. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purports to 12th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of devotional service. So he has given us some things that we should think upon and we should develop these qualities. But all this we will discuss in the next class again. Let me see your comments and then we'll end up. Nirguna Nirakar devotion is supreme. Initially get into Saguna Bhakti, later universalized equanimity develops into the mind, and later everything culminates into the formless, infinite, blissful, Sachidanand state of existence of cosmicity. Thakurji had developed the intense bhava, emotional intelligence to upgrade to specific conditions of existence. Bliss, absolute in everything, is existence of Brahma. This is one of the best examples. Okay. I mean, Nirguna, Bhagwan has given what? Bhagwan has given in the answer in the Saguna Upasana. So we start from Nirguna and end up in Saguna. Saguna is not Nirguna. Okay. The experience of that Brahma realization, first experience that will happen is everything is Brahman. But that Brahman exhibits itself in a form of light and sound. But this light and sound, from where is it coming? When the devotee further goes into this matter, oh, I am experiencing the light, I am experiencing the sound, it is very beautiful, very blissful. And you want to just stop your journey there because it's a hard work. So sometimes people, those who had this concept of Brahma, Nirakar, so they don't want to even hear all this. So they want to end it up there. So good, they are in that Brahma Jyoti. But from where is it Brahma Jyoti coming? So when you read our scriptures, it's very clearly stated, Bhagavan has stated it. This Brahma Jyoti is coming from spiritual planets, from Vaikuntha Lokas, from Krishna Loka, from the spiritual world. So we make our journey further as soul, and we go to the spiritual world. That is why when this Brahma, when you read Kapil Sankhya, in Kapil Sankhya, he's made it very clear. 5 types of mukti. First mukti is that Brahma realization. From Sagun does not come Nirgun. From Nirgun goes to Sagun. Remember this. And he said 5 types of mukti. The first mukti, liberation, is Sayujya. Where you get this? Oh, everything is Brahma. I am Brahma. I am pure Satchidananda. I am eternal bliss and knowledge. And this Brahma is eternal bliss and knowledge. Me and Brahma are one. Means in qualities we are one. This is the first realization. Sayujya. My body, I am not this body. I am pure light. I came into existence, but I am pure light. This is the first realization. What happens to the devotees? Because the devotees throughout their life are worshipping God as a friend, as my child, as my mother, as my father. So such a devotee is not even having that concept of Brahma. He doesn't even want to know that light, Bhagavan is just light or sound, or Bhagavan is no form. He doesn't want to know, and he leaves his body thinking of Bhagavan. What happens to such devotees? They are not merging in the Brahman. No, because they never thought about a Nirgun Brahman. Kapil Maharaj gives another 4 types of mukti to this kind of devotees. Salokya, Sarupya, Samipya, Sarshti. Salokya means, say if somebody is worshipping Ramji. So he leaves that body thinking of Ramji. So Bhagwan's in that spiritual planet, there are many planets where Bhagwan takes those forms, what he had taken here on earth. So this person will go to Ramji's planet. Bhagwan has said that in Gita. Those who think of whatever form will go to that form. So this person will go in Ramji's planet, because throughout his life he has seen Ramji. So there he will see Ramji. Salokya, in the same loka, in the same planet as Ramji. Somebody is worshipping Narasimha. In the same planet as Narasimha. Somebody is worshipping Shiva. Same planet as Shiva. Somebody is worshipping Devi. Same planet as Devi. Salokya. Next is Samipya. You are able to, because throughout, while you are living this body, you are worshipping that form as your very own Murti form. So when you are going to that world, in your Sachidanand form, in your Atma form, now Bhagwan is there in front of you in the same form, and you are given a chance to be serving him. That is Samipya, Mukti. Always you are serving him in his loka. Sarupya. You get the same Sachidanand body. Same. You look like that. Everybody there in that loka looks extraordinarily beautiful, because everybody looks like Bhagwan's Anj. Sarupya, Sarshti. All opulences of Vaikuntha Loka, they can enjoy. It is not like earth, poverty is there and discrimination. No. You are in Bhagwan's Loka. You are Bhagwan's Sevak. You enjoy all the opulences of those lokas. So 5 types of mukti. Most people do not know about this. People who talk about Brahman realization, they only talk about Sayujya Mukti. But beyond Sayujya Mukti, there are 4 muktis which is spoken in Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapurana. Sarupya, Salokya, Sarshti, Samipya. In all these 4, the Bhakta gets to relish that special relationship with Bhagwan, what he was doing in his lifetime while he was alive on earth. When we do Sakhi Bhav, if somebody is worshipping Bhagwan like you, my friend, so while we are worshipping here, our body, a spiritual body, It's already there. Our spiritual body is already developing there. It's already created. When we leave this finite body here, we are going there and we're going to go and serve. So these are the four. So we are in that body. Bhagwan is Saguna. Saguna means with all qualities. Guna means all qualities. Bhagwan is Saguna. He's with all qualities. And his devotees with all qualities is serving him in Samipya, Salokya, Sarshti, all these forms. Okay. And when you say Nirguna, Nirguna means Bhagwan is beyond the Sattvic, Rasic, Tamasic Guna. Beyond. So devotee is also beyond Sattvic, Rasic, Tamasic Guna. He is also Nirguna. One quality cannot define Bhagwan. That is why he is called Nirguna. Devotee is also like that. You cannot bind a devotee in one quality. Got it? So that is how it is. So a devotee gets everything. All right. So this is example of unaltered, undivided concentration and focus mind on Bhagwan. Namasmarana and Bhakti will with love to Lord by fixing mind concept like servant, leader, leadership, that is work on behalf of the Lord. Yes, yes. Kartam Muni is composer of Sri Sukta. Lakshmi ji is composer of Sri Sukta. Charan Sparshma. Kartam Muni is for Sankhya. No, Kartam Muni, no, he's not the composer. Lakshmi ji is composer of Sri Sukta. Charan Sparshma. My question is an extension to what Aman Bhai asked yesterday. When we go through intense spiritual experience, like I was having intense experience of Guru Bhakti and love yesterday, but after a deep sleep, the body and the mind reboots and comes back to its original state and what it was before the intense experience. And what remains in the body is only the remnants of that higher consciousness. And similar cycle repeats itself many, many times. What is the way ahead of this to establish oneself in that higher consciousness? This is given by Bhagwan itself. Our only work, our only work. Karmanya evam adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. We only do our work of remembering Bhagwan. Whether we are getting an experience or not getting an experience. If you got an experience, Bhagwan wanted to give you at that moment of time. If you are not getting an experience, you don't bother your head. Okay. Today, no experience day. And not every day will be like that. Ramakrishna Paramhans used to give an example of a fisherman. He used to say the fisherman goes to do fishing, to catch. So one day, some fish called hilsa fish. Okay, maybe it's a big fish. I don't know about fishing. But you say, not every day you're going to catch a big fish. One day you caught a big fish. You should be very happy you got the big fish. But next day you go and try to catch the same big fish. Not possible. This is how spiritual realizations are. One day you will be drowning in that. And then there will be very long dry spell. But after that dry spell, again Bhagwan comes one day. So it's like, he's showering love. And then you enjoy it again. So my Maharaji used to say, Maharaji said, I went through this. Maharaji said, it's like, if somebody's left in a desert, he's not getting water. But then when he gets water, how much he will value water? So that's how Bhagwan does. All this is a game he plays. But a devotee understands. And then he speaks like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Whether you hug me, whether you embrace me, whether you do not see me, whether you just kill me without looking at me, no problem, Bhagwan. You are free to do whatever you want to do. I will only love you. I know nothing else. So the devotee comes to this realization. So this is in this life. So this will come, this will go, this will come, this will go. That realization is not in our hand. We cannot do anything. We can only chant God's name. We can do satsanga. We can be sincere. We can love him. That's all we can do. Experiences coming back, going back. His choice. We cannot do it. His grace. Narad Muni got, Narad Muni is when you read the Bhagavatam. Narad Muni was blessed by Sanat Kumar and the Rishis. And after they left, his mother died. He prayed, and Bhagwan came to him. And Bhagwan only came once. And Narad Muni is crying, Bhagwan, I want to see you more. Bhagwan is like, no, in this life only one time. And left. So Bhagwan is like that. So, as you said, what we should do to get out of this, stop thinking all that. Enjoy the moment, chanting God's name, doing seva, enjoying the moment and thinking of those times, then being in bliss. That's it. Karmanya madhikaraste, ma phaleshu kadachana. Ma, what's the fourth darshan called? Sarvatra darshan. Everywhere, darshan everywhere. By asking this, I'm not craving for same repeated visions or bliss or love. But my goal is that higher consciousness in which I zone into when such experience happen, how to make that higher consciousness which I experience my default state. It happens gradually. It doesn't happen overnight. So you'll have to develop it. It's like, again, it happens. That consciousness, unbroken consciousness happens. I can only say that. I never fall into any low consciousness. It is always there. So from my own example, I'm saying it will happen. Definitely happen. Okay? And satsanga, chanting. Remembrance. Ado shraddha tata sadhu sango tata vajan kriya tha anartha nivrityasya. I've spoken to you about that. Then come ruchi, nishtha, asakti. Then comes bhakti, and then that becomes into prema bhakti. When prema bhakti develops, prema, then this state will never leave you. This state will always be there. So till that prema is developed, we have to keep doing our satsang, our bhajan. Slowly, all the anartha, all the little impurities we have, we don't know what all we have. We have forgotten. So once all the impurities are washed off, this will be a natural state then. It will come. It will never break. The love, when love arises, it will be there always forever. So it happens. So don't worry. That's all I can say. So still there. So keep doing. Okay. Excellent discourse on Kapil Muni's categorization of Mukti and Srimad Bhagavatam Puranam. Thank you, Ma, for clarifications. All right. So I hope I have answered. I can only encourage you, Gaurav. Keep chanting. You got an explanation. Be thankful. You got an experience. Be thankful. More experiences will keep coming to you. Jai Ma.
Thank you, Ma.
You're welcome.
Jai Shri Krishna, Ma.
Jai Shri Krishna.